In one of the most dramatic and emotionally charged moments in the ad hoc committee hearings, Honorable Ashley Sauls delivered a devastating cross-examination of Sarah Jane Trent that left the room stunned. Using the now iconic 6 and 9 analogy, Sauls methodically dismantled the image of Paul O'Sullivan as a heroic investigator and exposed the darker reality behind his operations. Sauls revealed that 11 months before the visit to General Phahlane's residence, O'Sullivan had sent a threatening email giving Phahlane just 10 days to deal with General Munu, warning that if he refused, O'Sullivan would redirect his attack toward Phahlane himself. When the deadline passed and Phahlane did not comply, O'Sullivan changed his target, proving this was never about corruption, but about personal vendettas and control. The MP then turned the emotional screws on Trent, pointing out how O'Sullivan abandoned her during their arrest, left her stranded in the dark while his own lawyer came to collect him, refused to pay her legal fees, and walked out of the committee hearing, leaving her completely alone. Sauls accused O'Sullivan of using Trent's relationship with McBride as leverage and described her as a dove trapped in a snake's den. He urged her to stop covering up the holes in O'Sullivan's story and warned that continuing to do so would only dig a deeper grave for herself. The session ended with a powerful plea for Trent to walk away and reclaim her life.
You have a blank page. It's my time, guys. Relax. It's my 30 minutes. Your pen? Draw a 6. Draw a 6. Do you see the 6?
Yeah.
Now, if I had to stand on the opposite side of you, that same 6 would look like a 9 to me.
Mm.
You see that? Who would be wrong?
It depends on which side of the page you're standing on.
So if I say to you, I see a 9, you say to me, no, I see a 6. Who would be wrong?
I'd say, yes, you see a 9 and I see a 6.
So neither would be wrong.
Yeah.
So Google was right. But Google only showed you from one perspective, right? Until you got into it. And you also started seeing the holes. It can exist at the same time. And my fear, Ms. Trent, is that you don't want to talk about the holes and the things that you really experienced. So I'm going to try and see if we can get there. You see, I put it to you. Listen to your story. And I put it to you that you are for the boardroom, not the streets. You are about books, not bullets. But you are a dove in a snake's den. And you began to see the holes. Wasn't as Google showed you. Miss Trent, does Mr. Paul O'Sullivan care about you?
No.
Doesn't? And you're sitting there, and the reason why you can't explain anything to anybody here is because you're trying hard to explain something that you yourself don't even understand. Now I'm going to give you an opportunity to try and speak about the things you don't want to speak about. When you couldn't afford your legal fees, he didn't think to pay for you. Miss Trent, does Paul O'Sullivan care about you?
As far as I'm concerned, no.
During this arrest, his lawyer comes to pick him up. You stand outside, stranded in the dark. He drives off, leaves you there alone. Miss Trent, Does Paul O'Sullivan care about you? Look around you. Turn around. Who's here with you? Who? Nobody. He walked out on you again. And yet, you must sit there and try and cover up these holes. But whilst you're doing that, I'm here to warn you. You're digging a deeper grave for yourself. Yeah. Because you can't explain the things that you're trying to. But you truly believed that what you were doing was genuinely trying to make the country better. But I want to show you the holes. And when I show you the holes, you're going to have to decide. Are you going to be honest about it and say, hey, that's wrong? Because you know what? When you were 38 years old, you resigned. You weren't fired. You resigned. Biologically, your prefrontal cortex.
I'd been in a lot of therapy, and
Now let me.
it was starting to work.
Yeah, your prefrontal cortex was now online for over a decade, and you were no longer apologizing for your boundaries. And you decided, I'm leaving. That's why you left. And you walked out, and you went to go help orphans. Because that's really who you are. Not what you've been experiencing for 7 years. So now you're in your 40s. And let me tell you, if you're not going to decide today what you walked away from, you're going to continue walking. You're going to be stuck at this point for the remainder of your life. You have to make a choice today. Are you going to open those holes, or you want to defend it? Walk away. You survived already. You're independent now. You have your own company. But what you do in the next few minutes is going to determine whether it's going to pull you back or push you forward. Paul O'Sullivan is not coming for you. You are alone. Ms. Trent, you guys were not investigators. In section number 18, paragraph 18 of your affidavit, paragraph 18 of your affidavit, on 9 November 2016, Paul O'Sullivan met two IPID officers, and then you describe it, and then you say they were entitled to receive assistance in their investigations and were entitled to provide this assistance at their request. You then say this included what? Informing them if and when we had any new information, carrying out certain forensic report checks, that's what you were qualified to do, on persons of interest, desktop research, and consulting from time to time. Now that is within the framework of the law. You were informants, not investigators. The moment you say you're an investigator, that's why you put that section there, but that is outside of the legal framework for what you guys were doing. When you say you're informants, you are then saying you were assisting the police with information with their investigation. You were not doing the investigation. Yeah? I'm not saying it is in your affidavit, but that's not what you've been saying the whole time. You know why you haven't been saying it? You're about to talk now, And I'm giving you the understanding of what truth is, because that will set you free. You were not investigators. You were informants. It's described here, as you have described it here, is how it should be. That's legal. Do you see that?
I see that.
Now, take me to the day on 9th November when you went to Mr. Phahlane's house. How did that happen? Did Paul call you, or how did that happen?
I can't remember. I would have been at the office.
Yeah. So you at the office, what happened?
We get in the car and
No, but how does this happen? You at the office, you don't know about going to Phahlane's house. He comes and tell you.
I can't remember, because he could have asked me to call Mantla Mahlangu, or he called me, or I'm not sure how the communication was, but at the end of the day, it was agreed that we would meet at 7.
Yes, but he explains to you, you are going there for what?
Oh, we're going to show the IPID investigators the house, and to go and see the estate manager.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly what was said. Please, I need to.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Relax, listen. Trust me. I have some inclination of what you're going through.
Yeah.
It's on you to just be truthful.
Absolutely.
Now, the idea you have is you going to deal with corruption. You're going to find evidence for it. That's you, because that's the impression you're getting. And it's your job. You're going to get in with your boss and you're going to go there, right?
Yeah,
You know what?
correct.
Do you know what really happened? What really happened, Ms. Trent, is that 11 months ago, before that day, your boss sent a threatening email to General Phahlane, and he wanted him to deal with General, is it Mosul or
Munu.
Munu. He wanted him to deal with Munu. And then he gave him 10 days to deal with Munu, and if he doesn't, then he's going to take focus off Munu and he's going to go for him. The 10 days passed. Phahlane refused. He didn't do anything. And guess what Paul did? Now, if it was about corruption, then you guys should then deal with both Munu, and General Phahlane, because it's about corruption. It's not about the person, but because of Paul O'Sullivan's God status, which you know about. He needs to decide. We're not going after him. We're going after him because he doesn't want to do what I tell him to do. And you just have to follow. You went that day on the 9th of November, not because there was some investigation that came up. It's because Paul O'Sullivan decided to change his target because General Phahlane did not obey him. You guys now get there. As you walk in, you're now there with 2 IPID officials. Do you tell the staff there you are not IPID officials? Do you tell them?
I don't say I am not an IPID official, but I introduce myself, yes.
Sorry?
I introduce myself, but I
As
don't.
what?
It's Sarah Jane Trent from Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. And he, look, I'd rather give the
That's okay.
recordings or the transcript.
It's not your fault. You were not supposed to do that. Your boss was supposed to do that. Your boss was supposed to say, I am Paul O'Sullivan. These are IPID officials. The fact that you guys didn't say that. Now you...
It's possible that he did. It is possible.
He
Sorry.
testified he didn't.
Okay.
Right? So you are an attorney, although you're not practicing. But there's a legal principle called the color of office where you present yourself as something without saying, but the impression of the people is that you are. Misrepresentation by silence. And that's what you're not guilty of. You did not, you had a legal duty. Not you, your boss. But if you want to continue to close up the holes for your boss, you're right in there with him. Your boss had a legal responsibility to say with his mouth, we are not police officers. The fact that he didn't means it was misrepresentation by silence, because psychologically all of you knew that if you don't say it, there's a huge possibility that the perception might be you are together as police, all of you. And you played the role together. That's why you could ask the question. When you use the IPID office, it is all giving the impression that you're part of IPID. Misrepresentation by silence. Do you see that?
I see what you're saying, yes.
Now separate yourself from that. You know how you do it? Truthfully, which is not a lie. Your boss instructed you. You were doing your job. You went with the understanding that you all are fighting corruption. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Stop trying to explain something that you have no clue of. That's how you separate yourself. The semi-social relationship that you had with Mr. McBride, was that meant to be private?
Yes.
No one should know. Do you know why, Ms. Trent? Because to your boss, that too was leverage. Your access card to information was that relationship. You know why he chose to pay for McBride's legal fees and not yours? Because you good enough for him to have something on McBride. And he needs to get him and keep him in his job, because he needs that in order to solve these cases. Ms. Trent, you were used, but you were brave. You walked away. Keep walking. Keep walking. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.